see me, and I can go ahead and edit this later. My apologies in advance. So hello, welcome or welcome back to International Yankee English. Today I have a live lesson for you on a topic near and dear to my heart. This is English writing skills. We're going to focus on style today, and we're going to be looking at wordiness. So essentially when you use too many words to say the thing that you need to say. So we're going to use the William Strunk Jr. and E.B. White's The Elements of Style handbook. We're going to use that in order to look at this topic. This will be a pretty short lesson, probably about 15 minutes or so altogether. And I have gone ahead and taken photos of the 3 pages or 2.5 pages that we are going to look at today for this lesson, and I have placed them on my Instagram. So I'm going to go ahead and just write my handle. You guys know my YouTube channel name, obviously, because you're on YouTube. It is International Yankee English. That is also my handle for Instagram. So let me see on my phone if I can oh man, I don't know how to write it on my phone, to be honest with you guys, because I have never live streamed from my phone before. Let me see if I can add it. No, unfortunately I cannot, or at least I can't figure it out. But if you go ahead to Instagram.com or on the app on your phone and you go to International Yankee English, same way that the channel is spelled and it's all one word, you can follow along. You will see on my feed of my page a photo of me holding this book, and then you can scroll through to swipe through to see what page I am on and what I am describing. We are going to start then after you get there. If you're watching the replay of this, you want to go back to the date is November 22nd. I will put a link after the live stream in the description box for the photos so that you can see what we're talking about and you can follow along. So in my edition of this book, The Strunk and White's Elements of Style, we are going to be on page 23, and the topic that we are discussing is number 17, and that is to omit needless words. So basically get rid of any words that you don't need in your writing, okay? So as you find your way to my Instagram page, scroll through until you find the picture of me with the book. November 22nd is the date on it if you're watching the replay of this later. And go ahead to the second picture, so swipe past my face, and then you will have that picture of section 17 titled Omit Needless Words. And I'm going to just read the first passage for you. Vigorous writing is concise. A sentence should contain no unnecessary words. A paragraph, no unnecessary sentences. For the same reason that a drawing should have no unnecessary lines and a machine no unnecessary parts. This requires not that the writer make all sentences short or avoid all detail, but that they have to treat all subjects in an outline, but that every word tell. This means that every word has a specific purpose in your writing then. So something that it goes on to explain further is about the common expressions that you will hear in English. So this is not only for non-native speakers, but also for native speakers. We tend to use certain common colloquialisms or expressions in our language, and it is not good to use that in your writing. So let's look at the picture here. Let's look at the left column. The first expression that you should avoid is the question as to whether. It's quite a long way to just say the word whether, right? W-H-E-T-H-E-R. If you really want to focus on that aspect of the question, then you could say the question whether, which is then at least one word shorter, but it simply is it's easier to follow. It's clearer, right? It flows better. Let's look at the second one. There is no doubt but that. Again, very wordy. You can replace that simply with no doubt or doubtless. All right, let's look at a third one. Make sure if you're joining now, I see some people have joined back after some have left. We need to go on Instagram to look at the pictures of this. I will post this link also after the live stream. My Instagram handle is my channel name, International Yankee English. Okay, the third one, guys. Used for fuel purposes. Not necessary. You don't need to add the word purposes. You can simply say used for fuel. The next one. He is a man who. This is one that I see all the time in my students' writing. He is a man who, or that is a person who, this is a leader who. You don't need to say all of that. Simply say he or she or they. That is so much clearer and easier for the reader to follow. I know these are common expressions, so you're used to hearing them, and maybe you like the way they sound, but it makes it more difficult for the reader to follow the plot line of what you are writing about. Okay, the next one is in a hasty manner. In a hasty manner. So hasty means to do something quickly or without any preparation or forethought. So instead of saying this long phrase and saying in a hasty manner, you can say hastily. H-A-S-T-I-L-Y. Hastily. And it cuts out all that extra nonsense, and it's just way more succinct, way more to the point. Okay, we have three more. This is a subject that. Simply replace that with this subject. The next two, her story is a strange one. Simply say, her story is strange. And the last one, this is a very common one. The reason why is that. Or slightly better, but still too long, the reason that. Simply say because. Because will suffice, it will do its job. Okay, I'm going to have a look. You want to now on Instagram. If you have Instagram open, you can swipe to the next picture. And I'm going to switch pages to page 24. And you will see that we have some more examples here. Okay, the fact that is an especially debilitating expression. Debilitating means that it makes it difficult or impossible for somebody to do something. So it's impossible to write well if you are using such a long, unnecessary phrase, such as the fact that. It should be revised out of every sentence in which it occurs. So I'm going to read first the wordy, not good expression, and then the revised one, starting with owing to the fact that. That can be replaced by either since or because. The next one, in spite of the fact that. This can be replaced by either though or although. Call your attention to the fact that. This can be replaced by remind you or notify you. I was unaware of the fact that. I couldn't even get my mouth wrapped around that one. It was too wordy. Okay, let's replace that with something cleaner. I was unaware that, or even better, I did not know. Okay, so if you want to sound fancy, you can say I was unaware that X, Y, and Z. But if you really want to just speak simple English, be plain, be direct, be clear, simply say I did not know, right? And it does depend in your writing style what your purpose is of your text, whether you're writing an academic piece of writing, or it's business writing, or it's a blog post, or a message to a friend on your mobile. That also will affect the word choice that you make. The next one, we have two more. The fact that he had not succeeded, or that he did not succeed, that can be replaced by his failure. And the last one, the fact that I had arrived, can be replaced by my arrival. Alright guys, we're going to look at the next section where it says, see also the words case, character, and nature in chapter 4. There are other words like who is, which was, and similar phrases that are simply superfluous. Superfluous means that it is over the top, unnecessary, you don't need it. So two examples for that. His cousin, who is a member of the same firm, that can be replaced with his cousin, a member of the same firm, And the second one, Trafalgar, which was Nelson's last battle, could simply be Trafalgar, Nelson's last battle. Okay, and then there are two more points that we're going to touch on before we wrap up the lesson today. The first one is the use of active voice versus passive voice. As the active voice is more concise than the passive, a positive statement is also more concise than a negative one. Many of the examples that are given will illustrate this rule. So active voice, they're saying, is more concise than the passive voice. It is more specific, it is clearer, it is easier for the reader to follow. Now you may be, especially if you were ever one of my university students, really annoyed at me right now and thinking that I'm contradicting myself, because you're often taught in my courses, as well as most academic lecturers and professors' courses, that academic writing is often not fully written in, but uses at least the passive voice. And the reason for that is that the passive voice is a bit more neutral, right? It is more objective versus subjective. However, it is also less direct than the active voice, and it is more difficult to follow sometimes. So you want to be mindful of exactly why you are choosing either active or passive voice, and I will go ahead and link when the live stream lesson is over. I will edit the description box and I will link a video that I made on active versus passive voice if you're not really sure when and how to use each one. We will move on now to the final topic, which is the main topic of wordiness. So you will see on the second picture, if you are on Instagram right now, that second picture from the book, you can follow along the first part, but then swipe through to see the example at the end. A common way to fall into wordiness is to present a single complex idea, step by step, in a series of sentences that might be more advantageous if you combine it into one. So let's swipe now on Instagram to that last photo that I had uploaded. For those of you who are watching on your phone right now, the live stream, and can't open Instagram, you can watch this back later and follow along. You will see on the left side a text and the edited revised version on the right. And you can really see visually how much shorter it is. It is about half the length. I think it's actually exactly half the length, 51 versus 26 words. And they both get the same point across, but they do so differently. So take a moment to find the picture if you can on Instagram and to read it. And for those of you who can't, I will read it out loud. So the first unrevised version, which is 51 words long, goes as follows. Macbeth was very ambitious. This led him to wish to become King of Scotland. The witches told him that this wish of his would come true. The King of Scotland at this time was Duncan. Encouraged by his wife, Macbeth murdered Duncan. He was thus enabled to succeed Duncan as king. Okay, so it's a lot of words to say something that is not really that complex. And at the same time, even though they're using a lot of words, the sentences themselves are quite simple sentences. So it doesn't even really sound very academic, yet it's kind of confusing and difficult to follow. So instead, the revised version, which is half the length, goes as follows. Encouraged by his wife, Macbeth achieved his ambition and realized the prediction of the witches by murdering Duncan and becoming King of Scotland in his place. Okay, so this is something that is really difficult for students, and I think that is why my most popular video on this channel is my top 5 informal writing mistakes video. And I think it was tip 4 out of the 5 where I covered wordiness and I gave a more practical real life example. And I think that this is really important for you guys to see the unrevised version next to the revised version. So do be sure to go and check that out on Instagram. I posted the photo of this. I will hold it now to my phone, so if you want to pause the video on the replay, I'm not sure if it's backwards or not, but that is important that you review that and you learn how to edit down your writing. And I will also link that informal writing video where I give another example of this as well for you guys in the description box. So if you're watching this live, please come back about 15 minutes after the live ends, and then you can find those links in the description box. I will also post links to this book called The Elements of Style by Strunk and White. It is great. I highly recommend it. I'm sure you can also find used versions online, as well as maybe some PDF or ebook versions. This has been around for a long time. It is not a new book, but it continues to stand the test of time. So I do encourage you, if you would like my feedback, to please head over to Instagram and find my post, and you can comment there and give your own revised version of this short little text on Macbeth. And then I will announce also just briefly here, because I still need to make the official announcement in the Facebook group and later on Instagram, but I am opening up my writing workshops. I will accept applications up until November 30th. So anyone who is an active community member in our Facebook group will be eligible to apply. And I will accept anywhere between 5 and 10 serious students to participate in my Written in the Stars writing workshops. We will cover 5 modules of the foundations of writing. And then a bonus perk is that anyone who is accepted into the Written in the Stars writing workshops, Foundation of Writing, they will also gain access, if they would like, to the academic writing course, which is an 8-module course. And I will make that available to the students that I decide to accept, and we will be going through that and receiving and giving feedback to each other over the course of the next, let's say, about 6 to 8 weeks. And then after that point, I will revise the courses and they will go live, and they will be for sale for the general public, anyone who would like to participate. So it will also be a low ticket course, both of the courses, so they will not be too expensive. So if you are not selected to participate in the free demo version of it, you can purchase it at a later point, and it'll be well worth your money because it will be enhanced with the feedback of my trial students, who will get to have access to it completely free. So thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate you taking the time to come here. Please give this video a like if you found value in it, and please also make sure to come back to check the description box for the links to this book that I referred to and taught from, as well as the 2 videos that I think you would find useful. And go ahead and either in the comments here on YouTube or over on Instagram, leave your revised version. If you are watching this after the date where I went live, go ahead back to the date November 22nd, and you will find the picture of me in my feed with this book, and then you can swipe through to see the photos of the pages. Thank you, guys.